Welcome to Bold Women Lawyers Spotlight. Today we have a great guest with us that's going to talk to us about low-cost marketing. I'm Sharon Christie, CEO and founder of Bold Women Lawyers. I'm a business strategist and a business coach for lawyers in solo and small law firms. And I am a lawyer. I practiced in a solo firm for 16 years and was a partner in a small firm for 15 years. So this is a topic that is near and dear to my heart. We have 𝗵𝗄 with us today. Jackie has a great background. She is a lawyer also, but she is a marketer. She has a marketing business, and she is going to tell you everything you want to know and more about low-cost marketing. So Jackie, welcome. Thank you so much for coming to talk to us today.
Thank you for having me, Sharon. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, it's my pleasure. Yes, yes.
So listen. Oh, sorry, I'm interrupting already. Go ahead.
Oh, that's okay. I just want to give my standard introduction here, and then I'm going to let you go. Jackie, as I said, she is a lawyer. She is a marketing specialist. She creates ground-up marketing strategies. I love that. Using her 360 reviews, and she's going to tell us all about that. So without further ado, I'm going to let Jackie jump in there. Jackie, tell us, the solo and small firm listeners out there, tell us, what is low-cost marketing that we can use effectively? Because you can spend a ton of money on marketing for sure. But if you're in a solo or small firm, you've got a limited budget. So what do you think are the best ways for solo and small firms to market themselves in a cost-effective way?
So I'm all about cost-effective ways of marketing yourself. I have also had my own small firm. I still do. I'm a solo practitioner in the trust and estates and elder law kind of area. And so I got to this place of having this marketing company that I really like to market to small and solo practitioners by frustration. I got here because, they don't teach you in law school how to run a business, and they certainly don't teach you in law school how to market a small practice. We come out with these tools that we can use to help clients, and sometimes we really can't help ourselves. So it occurred to me at some point in my career, maybe about 15 years ago, that, boy, this is a business, and I had heard from so many people, no, this is not an industry. It's a practice. It's a time-honored practice. And, it occurred to me that, but at the end of the day, it's a business. And how do we run a business while we're busy being lawyers and mothers and spouses and people trying to go to the grocery store and do our dry cleaning? How do we do all these things? So, I started investigating how marketing for law firms in particular could work, and really started working with small and solo lawyers like myself. What I found is that we're short of time, we're short of money, and we're short of guidance, especially if we practice alone. So I started building out this company, Elevated Strategies New York, and its birth was COVID. So during COVID, I was contacted by a lot of people who knew what I did, and they were asking me for help. A lot of businesses were struggling, and that's sort of how it got started. But I'll tell you a little bit about my strategy of marketing and how I advise my clients. So
please, yeah.
Most of my clients come to me and they have either no marketing in existence, they have no presence at all, they don't know where to start, they're worried about how much it's going to cost, and they don't know how marketing works. So the first thing I always advise people to do is take a look at your presence. What's your online presence? And think about what's important to you when you look somewhere to get help. So if you're looking for your local plumber and somebody pops up with a website that tells you what their address is and what their skill is and how long they've been around, you feel like you have some knowledge of that plumber. On the other hand, if what pops up is just a phone number and you don't know who that person is that you're letting in your home, you're more likely to call the other guy. And the same works for lawyers. So if somebody gets a referral, you know, oh, go see 𝗵𝗵𝗄𝗏, for example, and she's great, and they look up 𝗵𝗵𝗄𝗏 online and there's no presence there. They worry that I'm a fly-by-night, I have no experience, you know, I have no clients and things like that. And they will, you know, walk past me, digitally walk past me to the next lawyer on the list. And so the first thing I do is encourage people to take a look at their presence. Do you have a website? Are you active on social media? Are you putting material out into the world that shows people that you have expertise? But by having and building your presence online, you're starting to encourage people to find you when they search for a lawyer who does what you do. It's not all that difficult to build your presence. What it is time consuming and often frustrating if you don't know how to work various channels. But I start with presence because a lot of this you can do yourself for free. You can create a LinkedIn profile. You can create a business Facebook page, a business Instagram page, a Google for Business site that'll pop up in searches that people make. And if you're really interested, you can also create your own website, which is how a lot of people get started. The initial block seems to come when there's no time to do these things. And that's when I say it's worthwhile to hire somebody to help you. And that advice scares people because they've heard these quotes of websites costing tens of thousands of dollars, but they don't have to. You know, I've built websites for people for $500 that are basically landing pages so you can get some information about what you do out into the world. And I've built more extensive and robust websites for people that cost more. So there's a range of what a website can cost. And a marketing professional who's cognizant of what it is to be a smaller solo practitioner can guide you and create a website that fits in your budget that can grow with your firm. So the first thing I do is encourage people to try to set up their social media profiles and then ask for some help to get a website. Some of the things I like to share with people about website building, because a lot of people know they can go on GoDaddy or WordPress or a million other places and build a website. The difference between you doing that and you hiring somebody who does website development is that we know how to get your website connected into the virtual world, and you may not be aware of that. And that's called search engine optimization, which everybody may have heard of, but nobody knows what it means. So
what does that mean? Yeah.
Search engine optimization means you have links on your site and content on your site that Google picks up on, and it raises you up in the search rankings, so you're found easier. So these are some of the basic initial tools I tell people to use and start using. One of the things I do for my clients is a 360 review of your firm and your presence. And this is a way of starting off from the bottom. If you have nothing or you have very little or you don't really understand what you have, is I start with this review. I look at all of your channels, all of your presence. I find the weak spots, the places that are easy to fix. I make recommendations. And then I walk you through the process of how do you market your firm? How do you market yourself in your firm? So we talk about exactly what services you deliver, so you can be really clear on that. We talk about who your audience is and who you want to attract into your business. So we make sure what we're doing is marketed to those people. We talk about ways that we can build on a marketing strategy over the course of years. So we're cognizant of your budget and your business and your time. So this 360 review sort of gives you the foundation to start working on. With most of my clients, I start off slow because that's where most people who come to me are. And, you know, we just work baby step at a time. So a lot of large marketing companies want to throw a lot of stuff at you at one time. You know, I say, if you're like me, a solo practitioner with no time I said for a long time, I know marketing and I have a law firm, and my law firm is the shoemaker with no shoes, because what I was doing for others, I wasn't doing for myself.
For yourself. Let me stop you for a second, because I want to go back to a couple of things you said. One has to do with, looking at the people that when lawyers come to you, looking at the people that they serve. And I can tell you that I've had from clients, lawyers, that some pushback on the idea of narrowing down the people that you serve because they're afraid of missing some people out there. Can you address that? How do you approach it?
I certainly can address that. That is one of the scariest things that I ask people to do. It's certainly one of the scariest things that I've done in my businesses, is narrow the focus. We all have a perfect client. And when you're a small or solo practitioner, when you're just starting out, you're so afraid to focus on that perfect client because you need income. You sort of want to cast a wide net and take in whatever fish you can capture, and that's when we get into that early law firm trap of doing everything. You have a DWI, I can do that. You need a will, I could do that too. But at the end of the day, what you want is your perfect client. So identifying what that looks like is really important, because you can work your marketing so you get far more perfect clients, and the benefit to you and the income to your firm will far outweigh what that wide net was doing for you.
Exactly. And that's, I work with clients on that too, because when you try to speak to everyone, you're actually speaking to no one.
Exactly.
The other thing that sort of, blows my mind, honestly, is when people tell me, like you said, I can do DUIs, I can do wills, I can do divorces. Like, how in the world can you even think about keeping up with changes in the laws? Just that narrow aspect of trying to do that many things, much less keep straight all of the processes you need. So for your own sanity, it's really much better to stay very, very narrow. But I hear you. It is a scary proposition, but you make a great point that if you stay focused on that much narrower niche area, that's what I call it, not niche, but that's a whole different discussion. That if you stay focused on that, the clients that you will attract and who will retain you will create much more income than when you cast that wide net, because you're constantly running when you cast that wide net. How about the other thing that comes up all the time is the idea, this statement. I have a website, I have a LinkedIn page, I have a Facebook page, whatever it is. I get nothing from it. So let's talk about that and the difference between a static page and one that really works.
Yeah. Okay. So that's a great topic to talk about. And again, I suspect that what happens is we don't have time. We don't have time. We don't really understand how the things work, and we get frustrated and just think the whole thing won't work. This is stupid. I hear people talking about it, but how does this affect me? So my perfect client is somebody who is invested in the success of their business as much as I am. I sometimes have clients come to me and they sort of think I have a magic wand and that they'll never have to do any work. And I need them to be as invested in the success of their business as I am. And by that, I mean, there's work to be done. I can guide you. I can direct you. I can do a lot of the work for you. But at the end of the day, if you have a LinkedIn profile, you need to interact on it. There's a whole strategy I can build out for you for participating in your LinkedIn page and building your followers and getting your voice out there and heard. And that's what it takes for a LinkedIn page to work. It takes doing things like this for a LinkedIn page to work. It's work. For a Facebook or Instagram page to work, you put up a nice post, but you respond to nobody's comments. If you do that, it's a static page. It's not really going to build your following, which is what you want to do. If you build a website and people fill out forms that come in and you never answer them, those are leads you're leaving on the table.
Exactly. Yeah.
There has to be a partnership in working with somebody who's helping you grow your business, coaching you on a business, guiding you through a business, or marketing your business.
And the other thing is, it's not just a one and done, right? You just don't put up one LinkedIn post or one Instagram or whatever it is that you've decided is a place where your ideal clients are.
Right.
You can't just put up one and you're done.
Exactly.
It really needs to be, right, consistent.
Mm-hmm.
So how often do you have a minimum number of times you think people should post? How does that work?
Yeah. So you should be posting every day.
Mm.
And so this is the other question I get. So first of all, that's something that you can hire somebody to do for you.
Yeah.
Right. You can hire somebody to post for you every day. You can actually hire somebody to respond to all the comments, and you can hire somebody to do most of what you need to do. It's a question of money and time. But for your pages to be interactive and start building a following, they have to be interesting, and you have to post consistently. So the other question that comes up all the time is, how much can I say about writing a will, for example? How much can I possibly say about this that I am posting every day about what I do, which is writing a will? And the thing is, you're not posting about writing a will. That's what you do. You write wills, but you're posting posts that speak to your clientele. You're posting posts that are interesting to the people you want to draw into your practice. So when you identify who your audience is, if your audience is, parents in their 40s, well, you're going to post all about children and the challenges of parenting and why it's important to have a guardian appointed. And so there's a whole world of things you can post on and talk about to this audience that makes them feel like they know you, and they get to know what your values are. And that's how you build a business: trust and values and reach.
That's interesting that you said that, because I in my solo practice, which I ran for like 16 years, initially, now I'm going back, to when YouTube was just a beginning thing for lawyers, and I was like, I'm not doing it. I think it's stupid. I'm not going to do it. Until I started hearing from clients that they actually were on YouTube, and my practice is all about disability. But for almost 15 years, I did 3 videos a week on YouTube about various aspects of
Right.
disability and diseases that my clients had, and how that led to a disability case or didn't lend itself in that particular case, what somebody was able to do that meant they weren't disabled versus somebody, same disease, but here's the limitations, that kind of stuff. But because I thought the same thing at first, I'm like, oh, this is such a boring topic. How am I going to be able to talk about it? And yet, once you get into it, of course you can talk about it, because there are so many aspects, as you said, that touch on your clients and what's of interest to them. The other thing I found was that sometimes I wouldn't talk about law stuff at all. Mm-hmm. I would just do posts. And I would do, I'm a huge sports fan. And so when it's baseball season, I live in the Baltimore area, I would put on my Orioles cap and I would do a post about the upcoming season, that kind of stuff. And when you talked about people like knowing you, that was for me, that was huge for people to get to know me. Because it turned into like an icebreaker for a new client.
Exactly.
Oh, I'm an Orioles fan too, or I'm a Yankees fan, and then we could joke about that. But I think lawyers sometimes get in this mind frame of, I got to talk about legal stuff all the time. So So what would you say is not appropriate, but what would you say is a good approach to mixing in legal posts and then just things that are a little more fun and more about you and so people can get to know you?
So I have a client. I'll tell you a story about a client. I have a client and he's very good at making videos. He enjoys it. He loves it. He makes them every day. He just really likes it. He also likes snack food. So he has a separate channel, but I encouraged him to share all of the posts he made on this separate channel. But he has a separate channel about his snack reviews. And he'll sit down with a snack and say, okay, I'm here today to talk about the new Frito-Lay barbecued bugles or whatever, whatever the case may be that day. You know, I'm going to compare today the pretzel M&Ms with the peanut M&Ms and let's see where that falls. And he's entertaining and he's outgoing, right? He's a special client. And it's so interesting and it's so him that by encouraging him to combine these two things, it lets people get to know him. So people see who they're going to work with, and they may choose to work with you if they already like you because they see what you do.
Such a great point. That is such a great point because we are professionals as lawyers, but we're people too.
Mm-hmm.
We're more than lawyers.
Right.
And so I certainly had the experience. And like I said, I would do these sort of, I call them fun videos, you know, usually related to sports, but sometimes about other things. And when clients would contact me, new clients, I would hear consistently, oh, you know what? I know we've never met because most of my clients never even came to the office. It was all over the phone. I know we've never met, but I feel like I know you. I have watched lots of your videos. Mm-hmm. I know you're a Orioles fan and a Ravens fan and a this and a that. And you talk all about, you know, this area of law. And I learned so much. I feel like I already know you.
Exactly.
And that was a great feeling because, in fact, they did. They knew I didn't get into personal stuff about myself, but fun stuff. And, you know, I guess on the other hand, I always thought, you know what? If a potential client is turned off by that, I'm sorry, but probably you weren't a good client for me anyhow.
Exactly.
And there's somebody else out there that can serve you better than me. So,
right. And
yeah,
that goes back to the perfect client.
Exactly. And not being afraid to reveal some things about yourself that will attract that perfect client and not attract the imperfect client, because we all want those great clients. Yeah.
And we want great clients for us. So we can be a great provider for them, because if we're a bad fit, I'm not going to be able to give you the best outcome that I can, and you're not going to be able to get my methods. And so that's not beneficial for either of us.
It's not. And then at the end of the case or engagement, or, you know, however it ends, you have not created a raving fan for yourself. In fact, you have perhaps created someone who's going to say negative things about you.
Exactly.
And you don't want that. You know, I want the clients, I always wanted the clients that were so happy and excited about working with really my team, including me, that they would tell everybody they knew. And we got, of course, tons of referrals from former clients for that very reason. But that's a great point, because you have to let go of that fear that somebody won't like the way you operate, the way you handle cases. But it's okay, because you want it to be a good experience for them, but also for you, right? So tell me, like you mentioned some costs with regard to website.
Yes.
Is there a general range for somebody, let's say, who's starting out that you think is good, or is it really just dependent on how much money you have to spend at the time?
You can spend too much money and create a website that has a lot of bells and whistles and features that you really will never use or don't need. Okay. I recommend somebody start out with a website around $1,500. Now, people hear $1,500 and that sounds like a lot of money, and it is. And that's when I talk to them about what your marketing ROI should be. So what happens with
Explain that,
marketing
yeah.
is people see marketing as a bill. And it's a bill. It costs money. It's a bill, but they see marketing as another bill, another expense, rather than seeing marketing as an investment in building their company or their firm. So if you invest $1 in marketing, you should expect a $5 return. So if you invest $1,500 in building a proper website, right? It has all the things it needs to have to attract clients. It has all of those hooks and whistles in the background with the SEO that are helping you in Google. You know, it has all the right forms that you need to collect information. It talks about who you are and how you operate. You probably can expect a $7,500 to $10,000 return in new clients and new business. And it won't happen the first day the website's live. You know, websites work like social media and everything else. It's consistency, it's practice, it's building, it's growing. The website also evolves and can't be static, but you can, if you can look at it that way, that I'm going to make this investment in my business and then I'm going to get more business from it. I can help you draw a direct line between those two things. It's really an investment in your firm. Wouldn't you like in 3 months to have $10,000 more of income?
Yeah, exactly. And as you continue to invest or with a website, you know, it always strikes me that as you continue to put out more information there, you know, that continues to bring the ROI from your initial investment, because you're making it a dynamic website that people will come back to get more information.
Exactly.
And it sort of rolls from there. Yeah.
And to link back to something you said earlier about referrals. So if you build out a website and you start to have dynamic social media, just a little bit, and you get that 1 to 5 ratio of return on investment from your marketing costs, that spirals into referrals and more work. So what is your initial $7,500 increase in business becomes, $14,000, that becomes $28,000, because once you actually provide your service to a person who enjoys working with you and likes the way you present it and feels like they're getting a benefit, they refer you to their friends. So now that one new client is 4 new clients or 5 new clients or 10 new clients, and you keep rolling along that way, and before you know it, you've built a really strong business for you.
If somebody wants to talk to you, there's the text or phone number, right?
Yes. So I'm giving you my direct cell number because that's a little faster than trying to reach me through the office number. But you can reach me through the office number and leave me a message and I'll get it and call you back. But if you want to text me or call me and get in touch with me, let me know that you saw me here on Bold Women Lawyer. Found you here with Sharon.
There you go. There you go. Wonderful. Wonderful. So I'm getting all of that up there. And then finally, we have one more. Hold on a second. Let me get it up here. Your website is elevatedstrategiesnewyorkny.com, right?
Yes.
Okay. Now,
NY.
I was going to say,
the one who's not me.
That doesn't mean you only work in New York, obviously. That's
no.
No. Okay. All right. I wanted to ask you that question. Like, yeah, I know she works other places. She doesn't just work in New York, but you do have to differentiate, right, from other websites out there, right?
Yes. So there is another Elevated Strategies. I'm not sure where they are, but they're not in New York.
Okay. Okay. All right. Fair enough. Fair enough. All right. Well, Jackie, this has been really wonderful. I love the tips that you've given us. I hope that everybody that's listening that needs help with their marketing will get in touch with Jackie. If you're struggling, if you're not sure where to go, it's a great opportunity to get your ship straight there and get some ideas about where you really want to go with your marketing and what your best next steps are to build up a great law firm and a great law business. Because as you did say in the beginning, and it's true, don't forget it, it is a business. It's a professional business,
Yes.
but you're running a business and you have to think like a CEO when you're running a business, right?
Exactly right.
Yeah. Yeah. So thank you so much for being here today. Thank you for your all of your offers. It's been wonderful. I appreciate the time, and it's been great having you here. And I'm going to say to everybody that's listening, thank you for listening in. It's been great having you too. I want to also remind you that if you haven't been to my website at boldwomenlawyers.com, go over there, download your solo and small firm success guide, and you can get some more tips on how to effectively run your law business. And I look forward to talking to you next time. Have a great rest of your day.
Thanks so much, Sharon.